Okay, please rise for the pledge. Okay, welcome everyone to our August regular meeting for the Frank Park Borough. First of all, apologies for the continuous clicking. We've got some tech issues at the moment this evening. We'll get through it. Okay, so roll call, please.
Ms. Checkeye? Here. Dr. Lee?
Yeah.
Mr. Malkin?
Here.
Mr. Neal?
Here.
Mr. Pallett?
Here.
Mr. Paravelli?
Here.
Ms. Alugavelli?
Here.
Mayor Fiffick?
Here.
Okay, welcome everyone. We've got some preliminary matters. First, our mayor, will be presenting to our outgoing junior council person, Shani Lugavelli, by Brooke. There's a presentation by Linda Brooke.
And is Linda Book here? Okay, great.
Welcome. Of the PSAB Board of Directors and Mayor Piffin.
Good evening, everyone. We are here tonight to recognize Ashani Alugavelli, who has served as the junior council person since last September. And we're going to recognize her. And we have Linda Book of the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs to make some comments.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I'm a proud member of PSAB. Our organization was created in 1911. We recognize and we support all 956 boroughs in Pennsylvania. And we have dozens of programs, but nothing more important than a junior council program. So I'm proud to be here for Shawnee's presentation. Distinguished Junior Council Person Award presented to Ashani Alugavelli before Franklin Park Borough Council, August 19, 2026. Congratulations on being recognized by the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs and Franklin Park Borough Council. As an exceptional youth leader, your participation in borough government decision-making is very much appreciated and has positively impacted your community. Thank you very much. And we have a special canvas bag from PSAB, America 250. So enjoy. Thank you again. If you continue your service.
I just want to say a few words as well about Ashani. I had the pleasure of sitting next to her in all the meetings for the last 7 months, my term. She has provided input throughout her term on a variety of topics. She also submitted to council a long list of topics that within local government and the community, that she views is of special interest to teens. We certainly appreciate that, and council will certainly take that all into consideration. And I would also like to present to you a certificate presented to Ashani Alugavelli in honor of outstanding service and dedication to the community as the junior council person for the borough of Franklin Park from September 17th, 2025 to today, August 19th, 2026. Your commitment to civic engagement, leadership, and community involvement has made a meaningful impact and serves as an inspiration to your peers. We commend your willingness to learn, lead, and contribute to local government at such a young age. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words? Okay.
I wanted to start off by saying thank you everyone for being here. I know you're not here for me, but I'd like to present. But this is something that I love about Franklin Park, how engaged all of the members of our community are. And I wanted to start off by saying thank you to all the members of council, and then also our borough, the staff, and then just our community for allowing me to partake in this amazing experience. It's definitely helped, and I think it's going to do a great job of preparing me for what I want to do in the future, which is environmental law. And I definitely commend the borough and then also PSAB for offering positions like this where the youth get to be actively involved in advocacy and then being able to give input. So I want to say a final thank you to the borough for um, welcoming me, my questions, and also all of my input and ideas. So thank you, everybody.
Okay. Sean Clark and Andrew Morton, both residents of Franklin Park who have recently achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Council and I are honored to recognize them this evening. Sean and Andrew, please come. Sean and Andrew, Franklin Park Borough Council and I congratulate you for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. As an Eagle Scout, you have obtained the highest honor that the Boy Scouts of America can bestow on one of its members. Your achievement is an honor for which you and your parents deserve to be extremely proud. Sean, we wish to specifically recognize you for your Eagle Scout project that added 2 turnpikes to repair a 20-foot-long section of the scenic trail at the Latadami Nature Center at North Park in order to eliminate puddling of water and erosion from runoff from heavy rain. The turnpikes involved laying a gravel bed secured by wood planks with rebar on the sides, and it had ditches dug along its length under the gravel bed to lead off water. The trail was also widened by removing the critical edge, which also assisted in reducing water retention. What a wonderful accomplishment. Congratulations, Sean. We also recognize you, Sean, for your commitment to leadership, serving as Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Den Chief for Cub Scouts Pack 279, and for being selected by your Scout peers to participate in Order of the Arrow and to receive the Rex Smith Award within Troop 335. In addition, you earned 4th year Pipestone Camp honors. Congratulations. Andrew, we wish to specifically recognize you for your Eagle Scout project that consisted of reinforcing the St. John Newman Parish Garden with new fencing to keep animals out to protect the vegetables that are donated to North Hills Community Outreach, North Hills Food Bank, and Assumption Church for Mary's Gate. The project also included filling holes in garden posts caused by wood bees, staining the posts, weeding and mulching the entire perimeter of the garden inside and out. The project planning and labor totaled more than 100 hours and included your family, friends, and fellow scouts. What a wonderful accomplishment. Congratulations. To both of you, we wish you the very best as you continue your life's journey. Based on your accomplishments to date, we are confident that you will have a very bright future. In addition, we want to thank your parents, Dennis and Christina Morton, and Reuben and Megan Clark, for the time they have given and the effort they have made in raising civic-minded young men. They have done an outstanding job instilling in you all of the qualities necessary to excel in today's society. Congratulations. You have both spent hundreds of hours or thousands of hours dedicated to the Scouts, learning a wide variety of skills and experiences. Again, Franklin Park Borough congratulates you both. And now I have certificates of recognition. Let's see who's first. Well, I have a letter also. And the certificate of recognition. This one, Sean, you want to come over? Certificate of recognition presented to Sean Clark in honor of obtaining the rank of Eagle Scout in Boy Scout Troop 335. presented by the Borough Council and Mayor of the Borough of Franklin Park this 19th day of August, 2026. Congratulations, Sean. Andrew? The Borough of Franklin Park's Certificate of Recognition presented to Andrew G. Morton in honor of obtaining the rank of Eagle Scout in Boy Scout Troop 171, presented by the Borough Council and Mayor of the Borough of Franklin Park this 19th day of August, 2026. Congratulations. If you would like a moment to take some pictures, parents, you're welcome to come up and take some pictures. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, and finally, I am honored to make the following proclamation on behalf of the Borough of Franklin Park. This is the Hunger Action Month proclamation. Whereas hunger is a vital concern in the Borough of Franklin Park, where 7.3% of people experience food insecurity. And whereas every person deserves access to the food and resources they need to live a full, healthy life. Yet millions of people in the United States experience food insecurity. And when people do not have enough to eat, it impacts their health, education, and future opportunities. Whereas the Borough of Franklin Park is committed to taking steps to combat hunger in every part of our community and to provide additional resources that are needed. And whereas the Borough of Franklin Park is committed to working with the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, Feeding Pennsylvania, Feeding America, and all anti-hunger organizations nationwide to educate the community about the continued existence of hunger and to ensure neighbors facing hunger have access to the food and resources they need to thrive. And whereas the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank distribute more than 48 million meals to households across southwestern Pennsylvania each year through a network of agency partners, food pantries, meal programs, and other community organizations, including to many families in the Borough of Franklin Park. And whereas the month of September has been designated Hunger Action Month to bring communities together to elevate the voices of people who experience food insecurity and inspire everyone to take renewed action in the fight to end hunger. And whereas food banks across the country, including the Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, will host numerous events throughout the month of September to bring awareness and help end hunger in their local community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Kristen Pfiffick, join with communities across America and do proclaim September 2026 as Hunger Action Month in the Borough of Franklin Park. And I call this observance to the attention of our citizens. Proclaimed this 19th day of August, 2026. I want to, it stated, the statistics show that 7.3% of people in Franklin Park experience food insecurity. Running the numbers, if I did my math right, we have approximately 16,000 residents in Franklin Park. That means that a little over 1,100 residents in our borough are hungry. Franklin Park this will be the 10th year that we team up with North Hills Community Outreach to serve as a drop-off location for Thanksgiving on every table. It's a food drive that will be beginning in October. Information about this will be in the fall newsletter that should be hitting your mailboxes any day now. And we will also have it on our social media sites for information for residents to see and participate. There are also, I'm going to also post opportunities through the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank and other organizations that were named in the proclamation. They are having special events throughout the month of September, and I will also post these for the residents to consider to participate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, for all those preliminary matters. On public comments, residents and taxpayers of the borough are permitted to comment on current matters concerned or agenda items which are before council this evening. If you'd like to address borough council this evening, we ask that you please stand at the microphone, give your name, spell your last name, give your address, so you'll be properly identified in the minute record. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes as well. And also, as an alternative, written comments submitted to public comments at franklinparkborough.us prior to total noon Eastern time on Wednesday, August 19, 2026, when we consider at this meeting. Please include August 19th public comment as the subject of your email, and include your name and address so you are properly identified for the minute record. Before we have public speakers, we did have, was it one email? One email needs to be read into the record. Email is from Stephanie Gray. Just need the name. Address. Okay, so Stephanie Gray, 1602 White Oak Court, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. Dear Borough Council, I am writing to submit public comment regarding the proposed cell tower in the Clover Hill Golf Course area. I live nearby on White Oak Court and oppose the use of Clover Hill as a location for a cell tower. Clover Hill is surrounded by established residential neighborhoods. I do not believe this is an appropriate location for this type of infrastructure. Potential visual impact, effect on the character of the surrounding community, proximity to nearby homes are extremely concerns to me as a resident, especially ask Borough Council not to approve or advance Clover Hill as a location for a cell tower and remove this type of consideration. This issue has generated concern in my residents for several years. If the borough continues to consider Clover Hill, despite these concerns, residents deserve clear information why this particular location is necessary, what alternative locations may be evaluated, why those alternatives were rejected, and what borough's wireless communications consultant has concluded regarding the need for a tower, specifically Clover Hill. Do not believe the desire for expanded cellular coverage by itself justifies placing a tower at Clover Hill and imposing the resulting impact on surrounding residential community. Other locations or solutions should be pursued rather than this site. Please include this email as public comment, which it is. Was that the only email? Correct. Okay. We have a number of speakers that are signed up. Please hold the mic down, the button down, and state your name and address for the record. We'll just go down the list first. I'll call your name. If you want to speak, come up and speak. If not, I'll go to the next person. First speaker is Brian Cooper.
My name is Brian Cooper. I live at 15 Bonnet Drive, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 5237. I'm also one of the owners of 2281 Rochester Road, formerly Young World, co-owner of what hopefully will become 4 Points Deli Company. I'm here tonight because I believe Franklin Park Borough needs to take a serious look at how its zoning and development regulations are being applied to existing properties, and specifically what those regulations are doing to small business. We are local residents raising our families in this borough. We own property in this community. We are trying to open a small, locally owned business. We are taking an existing property and an existing building that has been used for commercial purposes since it was built, and we are trying to put it back into a productive use. Yet the borough has made this process extraordinarily difficult, complicated, and expensive. At what point do regulations designed to protect the community become regulations that actually prevent people from investing in that community? Because that is where we are. The zoning and development requirements being placed on this property are excessive for what we are proposing. They may make sense for a major development or completely new construction project, but we are talking about an existing building with no change to its footprint. And yet we are being treated as though we are undertaking a major development project. This property has always been used for a business since it was built in the 1950s to include a daycare, farmer's market, barbershop, amongst others. On June 13, 2025, we received a variance from the zoning board to open an eatery at that location. Now we are trying to open 4 Points Deli Company in the same building without changing the footprint. The alternative and the requirements that we are being led towards is a major redevelopment of the site. New parking area, relocation of parking, stormwater management, full site development, which comes with significant additional cost. That is the level of investment that makes sense for a large commercial developer. But that's not what we are. We're a locally owned small business. At some point, the requirements stop being reasonable and start becoming a barrier to entry. And when that happens, it becomes something else, a financial burden that a local small business simply cannot absorb. Eventually, those same burdens can stop local owners from moving forward, but they do not necessarily stop the property from being developed. They simply shift the opportunity to large national companies that can absorb the cost, meet every requirement, ultimately take the property over. That is not the outcome anyone here is trying to create, but it is direction these kinds of escalating requirements can lead to. What message is Franklin Park sending to people who want to invest in this community? If someone wants to take an existing building, improve it, open a business, create jobs, and contribute to local tax base, should the borough be making that easier or harder? Because right now it's becoming harder. A large corporation can afford engineers, attorneys, consultants, architects, and tens of thousands of dollars in upfront development costs before it ever opens its doors. A small business owner often cannot. And when the regulatory burden becomes too expensive, the result is simple. The locally small business doesn't open, and the property is sold to a national chain. We are asking the borough to look at this specific property and this specific proposal and apply some common sense. We are asking whether every requirement being imposed is actually necessary for an existing building where the footprint is not changing. Because if the end result of these regulations is that an existing commercial building cannot reasonably be reused by a local small business, then we need to have a serious conversation about whether those regulations are working as intended. My business partner and I have reached out to many of you on the council. Many of you have gotten back to us. You've come to the property. We've shared our vision with you, and we appreciate the conversations and the opportunity. For those council members we have not had the opportunity to speak with, I extend the same invitation to you. You are all the governing body of Franklin Park Borough. You have the authority to establish the policies and the regulations and govern how our community develops and how existing properties are used. We are asking you as elected officials to look at our situation and determine whether the current regulations are achieving their intended purpose or whether they are unnecessarily preventing existing property from being put back into a productive use. This property is an asset to Franklin Park. 4 Points Deli Company is an appropriate use for that property. So I will leave you with one simple question. What are you, our elected borough council members, willing to do to help two constituents open this locally owned business and keep it locally owned? Thank you for your time.
Okay, next sign of speaker, Steve Browning.
Good evening. My name's Stephen Browning. I live at 1538 Bonnet Drive, 15237. You won't need to worry about the timer. I'm going to be much quicker. So I'm not going to come up here to repeat everything that my business partner just said. I'm just going to bring up a few of my own comments. Everybody knows what Facebook is and social media. We made a post yesterday informing anybody in the community on the Franklin Park Facebook page that we would be coming out tonight to speak. In less than 24 hours, we've had over 170 supportive likes. I'm sure most people know what that means. And and all the positive comments to follow. We are ready to be an asset to the community. All we are asking is that you as the elected board help us open up and provide a viable and wanted business in our community. We've spent countless hours cleaning up the property. It seems every time that we are at the property, somebody stops by to ask us what our vision and what our goal is. We've had children stop by, not children, but kids stop by asking for jobs already. Franklin Park needs businesses, small businesses, and we're ready to make that happen. Please consider any help you could give us as a council to give Franklin Park a small, viable business owned by two constituents for a small borough. I don't think I can reiterate what Brian said prior to me coming up here, but I just wanted to pass on my notes. Again, we extend an invitation to any of you on the borough council that would like to come by, walk through, and look and see our layout and what our vision is. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, the next sign of speaker is Michael Kratzis.
You want to wait and
Yeah,
get your
so-
portion?
Yep, so for anybody, sign up for Franklin Inn. If you want to wait, you can wait. There's a presentation for their portion. You want to wait? Okay. The next sign of speaker, Doug Tate, also, you want to wait? Okay. Do you want to wait also? Okay. All right. Okay. Next one I've got is Thomas Mueller. You want to wait? Okay. Sounds good. Jessica Cardella.
My name is Jessica Cardella. I reside at 2525 Hopkins Church Road, 15237, or 15143. I'm so sorry. My name is Jessica, as I said. I am a longtime resident of Franklin Park. I am also a local business owner right outside of the borough lines, and I serve a lot of our community. I am here today to support two fellow small business owners trying to serve and better our community. I fully support Four Points Deli. I think that it would be a wonderful addition to Franklin Park as a whole. I would also really love to see a building that has been sitting vacant in one of our busiest intersections be used for something to help a family like my own. As a mom of 4 kiddos and someone that's very involved in our local sports, including Ingomar Franklin Park Little League, I truly feel that Four Points Deli would help serve as many families, or would help serve so many families with the convenience of the location and what it can bring to our community. I am truly a supporter, and I stand behind the owners of Four Points Deli, one of them who has served our country, and I feel that the support in opening this business only scratches the surface as what we can take into consideration and use to thank him as what he has done for each and every one of us. Thank you.
Okay. Our next speakers that are signed up, Tom and Janet Stein.
Good evening. My name is Tom Stein, 1550 Ingomar Heights Road, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. I want to thank Chief Leach and his counterpart, Chief Harper from the North Allegheny School District, as well as the mayor and the council for their support in a very important exercise that they and their mutual aid departments, as well as the North Hills Special Response Team, McAllen's Franklin Park EMS, and their mutual aid companies at the Ingomar Middle School the week before last. They did a very important active threat drill at the middle school, and a lot of people learned a lot of things on how to better take care and keep our children safe in our school system, and a lot of lessons learned. I just want to thank everybody for that. Thank you.
Okay, our next sign-up speaker, apologies I mispronounce it, Mark Skosnick.
Good evening, Council. My name is Mark Skosnick, and I'm a resident of 1544 Field Club Drive, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. The reason for me being here tonight, as well as numerous neighbors, is to discuss the speed limit of 25 on Field Club Drive, or maybe more accurately, the speed limit that is way too frequently not adhered to. Field Club is a wonderful street that's frequently used as a pass-through street, which we do acknowledge, but we just don't accept the abuse of speed that often takes place on this shortcut. Now, I was going to try and use some dad jokes tonight, but I figured this wasn't the time, so I'll be brief and to the point. But I myself am a dad to two beautiful girls and an awesome English bulldog. And I'm here representing 5 other neighbors who are here with me tonight, including Christina Robchak and her son Cole, who is one of the awesome children. He's a kindergartner who plays on our street with the 10 other kids who live in the 5-house vicinity almost nonstop when they're not at school. We have been emailing with Manager Zach, and thank you so much for the attention and communication that you've given us through these past couple of weeks. That's greatly appreciated. And we do appreciate the efforts that our awesome police have made doing a speed trap on the street, as well as doing speed monitoring and the new speed limit signs that are now present. But we just would love to keep the conversation going and hear any plans for speed limit reduction to 15, as it is elsewhere in the neighborhood, speed bumps, or a permanent electronic speed monitoring sign that it would be funded by the borough. We're looking forward to keeping this conversation going, keeping our kids, pets, and wonderful neighbors safe who live on this awesome street. Thank you.
Okay, our next sign-up speaker is Charles Horton.
Charles Horton, 1654 Farmington Court, 15237. I'm here because of the proposed locations for the cell tower that were brought up, or for cell towers, plural, that were brought up at the Land Use Committee, including, in veiled language, the Clover Hill Golf Course. It was referred to in that report as in or near 2210 Reese Run, which is the Mormon facility. However, zoning both present and proposed changes make clear that it wouldn't be there, and comments at the meeting did make clear that the golf course was what was in mind. With that said, I think we need to go back and review. Shouldn't technology make our lives easier instead of harder? Shouldn't technology help us instead of us needing to help it? Isn't it there to improve our lives instead of reduce their quality? There was a time when giant towers seemed like the only way to improve cell coverage. But that was a time before small cells, before Wi-Fi calling, before voice over IP, before internet customers could choose between wire or cellular or satellite or cable, or perhaps other choices even, for their service providers. Year by year, seemingly day by day, coverage options improve. They get better, they get cheaper, and they get less obtrusive, both for municipalities. I don't blame people for wanting to improve service, but we're now contemplating an idea that was obsolete in 2017 when it was first proposed, and when borough residents emphatically turned it down. It was even more obsolete in 2020, when Borough Council assured us that there were no plans present or future ever to have a golf course cell tower. Now, it's so obsolete it's practically prehistoric. I think it became a case of a few people that were attached to the idea of putting a cell tower at the golf course, just sticking to it with dogged perseverance, even though technology had long since moved past. We don't need a 200-foot tall eyesore at the golf course. We don't need to clear cut a 1/4 acre of forest there, plus however much you'd need to clear cut for a road to it. We don't need a barbed wire fence around it as mandated by law. We don't need to have a blinking beacon visible for miles away, which would be mandated by the FAA whether or not it crosses the 200 feet height, because it's on a flight approach path to Pittsburgh International Airport. This would be a massive eyesore, a massive reduction in quality of life for everyone who lives around it, and a massive reduction, estimated by realtors at 20%, to the property values of homes that would be impacted by it. We would not be compensated by the cell tower companies. We would not be compensated by Franklin Park. We can't afford it. And again, thankfully, due to these advances in technology, we don't have to. You don't have to choose between doing the right thing for us and improving cell coverage. All you have to do is insist that these companies improve coverage the right way, not necessarily the cheapest or easiest way, but the right way. When Wetgo was proposing its car wash, there was an excellent comment made by, I'm sorry, I forget which member of Borough Council, but said, well, in Franklin Park, we're going to do it the right way. And that's the approach that I hope that you will use in finding a way of improving cell coverage without smashing any of our property values. Please consider better locations and better methods. The Clover Hill Golf Course should stay as it is. It doesn't need a cell tower. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Any other speakers? Again, Franklin Inn will be presented later in the agenda. Okay. Moving on to the agenda. So let's see. Monthly reports. The minutes of the July 15, 2026 pre-post meeting. July 15, 2026 regular meeting. August 5th, 2026 work session minutes for giving mayor and council. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing as there are none. Motion number one.
Move the minutes of the July meeting, the July 15, 2026 regular meeting, and the August 5th, 2026 work session minutes be approved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Mr. President, general fund revenue for the borough through July 31st totaled $9,207,000, which represents about 68% of the total annual budget. General fund expenditures through July 31st totaled $6,963,000, which represents about 48% of the 2026 annual budget. That's the treasurer.
Okay. Please report.
Yes, for July 2026, for calls for service and arrest activity during the month of July, the Franklin Park Police Department responded to 644 calls for service, resulting in 10 arrests. The arrests included 1 disorderly conduct, 2 altered or forged documents, 3 harassment, 2 possession of narcotics, 1 theft by unlawful taking, 1 driving under suspension habitual offender. For traffic enforcement and crash investigations, the officers patrolled 12,342 miles in the month of July. They conducted 145 traffic posts throughout the borough in various locations. They conducted 233 traffic stops, issuing 84 traffic citations and 199 traffic warnings. In addition, the department investigated 14 traffic accidents.
Thanks. Fire report. I'll do that. So July 2026 fire report. Fire company responded to 32 calls for the month of the following breakdown: 9 vehicle accidents, 5 automatic fire alarms, 4 dispatched and canceled en route, 3 power line down arcing, 3 investigating possible hazard release, 2 no incident found at the location, 1 CO alarm, 1 gas leak, nothing found, 1 structure fire, mutual aid, 1 vehicle fire, commercial vehicle, 1 owner investigation, nothing toxic or dangerous found, 1 citizen assist or service call, fire company provided mutual aid 9 times and received mutual aid 2 times. Year-to-date fire calls are 215. Volunteer hours for the past 12 months, over 5,500 hours. And for the month of July, volunteer hours, 420 hours. Building inspector report.
Construction report for July 2026. 20 permits were issued for the month. 6 were single-family dwellings, 1 addition, 7 decks, 1 fence, 1 swimming pool, and 4 miscellaneous permits. Total value of construction from the month was $6,217,245, and total fees collected for the month were $61,985. End of report, Mr. President.
Thanks. Announcement of executive session. Borough Council had an executive session on August 5th, 2026 to discuss labor relations, and again earlier this evening on August 19th to discuss labor relations as well. All business, there is none on new business. Motion number 2.
Move council authorize the payment of bills which have been reviewed and approved since the last meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstained?
Move to approve subdivision application SS-26-08-07 submitted by Jim Wattenpool for a minor subdivision consisting of a lot line revision at the properties located at 1,000 and 1,100 Pine Lane in the R2 zoning district, contingent upon the building inspector, zoning officer staff report dated July 29, 2026, and the letter from LSSE Civil Engineers and Surveyors dated August 4th, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Motion number 3 carries. Mr. Yonker, would you summarize number 14.5-6, then we got presentation?
Certainly. This is resolution number 1425 of 2026. It is a resolution of the Borough of Franklin Park, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, granting revised preliminary and final land development approval to John Cibula for LPF 26-07-01 regarding an addition, renovation, and repair of an existing non-conforming eating place known as the Franklin Inn Mexican Restaurant on property owned by the Cibula Family Revocable Trust located at 2313 Rochester Road with conditions. We are not required to have a public hearing. We don't have our court reporter, but the applicant is here to go over the plans. And unfortunately, I don't see the owners of 4 Points Deli. I believe they left. Is anybody else here who spoke on 4 Points Deli? Just in terms of presentation, one of the issues there is the owners do not want to go through the process the Franklin Inn will be describing right now. So unfortunately, they won't be here to see how this is done. As noted, we do not have an application for 4 Points Deli. And there's a Facebook post going out and generating interest. Obviously, there's nothing on the agenda with respect to that one, but this presentation from the applicant is of a similar nature, and we would ask Mr. Tate, and if you want to please stand up and review your plans for council.
Just please make sure you hold down the button as you're speaking.
My name is Doug Tate with Tate Engineering and Michael Kratzis.
Michael Kratzis.
As you mentioned, it's a existing long-time business in Franklin Park at the Franklin Inn Restaurant. Due to the fire that they had in December, we're needing to put an addition on the building and do some renovations to the floor plan. And as part of that, as we discussed earlier, some of the requirements are ADA parking requirements outside and some additional improvements for sidewalks and landscaping around the building. But we do have some architectural renderings here that the building addition itself is about 750 square feet, and it'll be on the back part of the building as you're looking at it from Rochester Road. And
This is the side elevation from Oakley. The existing building, this line right here. The addition is the size, the width of the rear of the building, 25 feet by 26 feet. And as Doug mentioned, it's 750 square feet. And most of the area of the addition is to comply with code. Due to the catastrophe of the fire, upgrades will have to be done according to code, and that requires the bathrooms to be bigger, the stairwell to the basement to be compliant, which is a lot bigger. Area of assistance requires more room for the exits and that, and it's only 750 square feet. That area for the addition is on an existing level plateau. Minimal excavation is required. Actually, the grade of the basement of the addition is the grade of the exterior where it sits right now.
stormwater management is less than the 5,000 square feet, which no NPDES is required. We are looking to improve the ADA parking. That's one of the items for code compliancy, that it will be to code. Then from the parking area with the proper signage and the proper access, with the 2% grade to enter the building. And once you enter the building, there's platforms and the levels that need to be ripped out, so that will be ADA compliant, all the way to the restrooms and so on. As you can see, the addition will be consistent with the architecture of the building. The colors will be muted. We do have a color palette. The owners have done an excellent collage for the branding of the property on the inside. Everything of the business will be consistent to as it is now, other than it will be up to code and fresh.
And Mr. Tate, I know sidewalks will be installed, so that original requested modification has been withdrawn, but can you address the other two requests for modification?
Sure. The request for modifications had to do with paving the entire parking lot at this time, which we're asking to just pave enough to do the new ADA parking spaces. And the other one was for landscaping the entire lot, which we're landscaping around the perimeter of the building and some additional along the sideline. But we're asking relief on landscaping the entire lot, since we do have quite a big wooded area surrounding the parking lot.
Okay. And Mr. Phillips, just briefly, in terms of the process for how we got there, the resolution references an existing non-conforming eating place. Is that with respect to the use, or respect to structure, or both?
They actually both are non-conforming because of the structure's location on the lot and setback requirements. Also, the use is not a permitted use in that zoning district, but it was there pre-ordinance.
And in terms of a previous land development approval or plan, was that done for this location years ago, perhaps?
Not well. There was one that was done that wasn't completed. It wasn't finished. But prior to that, I'm not aware.
And in terms of the application process, has this been before the Planning Commission?
Yes, it has.
And what was their recommendation?
Their recommendation was approval.
Thank you. We did have the discussion. The resolution that was in the packet before has been amended to address the trees on Oakleaf Lane, that they can't be replaced within the right of way. If they die, they need to be moved out, and that paving request has essentially been granted for 10 years, for plenty of time to do the paving and the associated stormwater. So the version that was in the packets did not have those details as discussed at the pre-meeting and public session back there, but the version that is prepared for vote right now and signatures has been revised.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? Okay. Any questions from council? Okay. Motion number 4.
Move to adopt resolution number 1425-2026, granting revised preliminary and final land development approval to John Sibula for LPF-26-07-01 regarding an addition, renovation, and repair of an existing non-conforming eating place known as the Franklin Inn Mexican Restaurant on property owned by the Sibula Family Revocable Trust located at 2313 Rochester Road with conditions.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul's.
Mr. President, I'm going to recuse, as I've stated before on the record. My daughter has worked for this establishment for a number of years proudly, and so I don't feel it would be appropriate for me to vote on this. So I'm not going to. I'm going to abstain. Recuse, actually, sorry.
Yep, sounds good. Anything else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Uh,
I'm abstaining.
yep, sounds good. Okay, motion carries. Yeah, so anybody sign up to speak about Franklin Inn, we've got a public comment at the end, so you can speak then if you want. Okay, moving on, motion number 5. Mr. Young, will you summarize resolution number 1424-2026?
Certainly, this is resolution number 1425 of 24, I'm sorry, of 2026. It is a resolution of the Borough. Oh, yeah, we'll just take a brief recess for a second.
Resume.
I will resume at this time. Thank you, Mr. President. This is resolution number 1424 of 2026. It is a resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Franklin Park, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, approving under Act 537 a small flowage treatment facility application to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection on behalf of Brian Negrini for the Negrini property.
Move to adopt the resolution number 1424-2026, adopting an official sewage facility plan model for the installation of the small flow treatment facility to replace the existing on-lot sewage system on property owned by Brian and Negrini at 1403 Fox Chase Drive.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained?
Move to award Waste Management of Pennsylvania Incorporated, Moon Township, Pennsylvania, the bid for the collection, removal, and disposal of solid waste, recyclables, and household hazardous waste for the period January 1st, 2027 to December 31st, 2030, with a possible one-year extension through 2031 to authorize the borough to enter into an agreement with Waste Management and to authorize the return of the bid bond to the unsuccessful bidders.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Motion carried.
Move to authorize the secretary to advertise for bids for contract number 26-PW1 Public Works Garage Project.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Against? Abstained? Motion carries.
Move to authorize the second partial payment of the 2026 annual donation to the McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority in the amount of $19,666.67.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Motion carries.
Move to accept the resignation of 20th, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Motion carries.
Move to ratify the borough's manager execution of the memorandum of understanding between the borough, the Franklin Ridge Estate Community Service Association, Inc., and the Eric and the Marisa Hintmeyer.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Move to amend the motion and the resolution adopted at the November 19th, 2025 regular meeting to remember the resolution number 1399-2025 as resolution number 1399A-2025 to correct the duplicate numbering.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Carries.
Move American Rock Salt of Mount Morris, New York. The bid for rock salt under CoStar's contract number 4600016879 for the period of August 1st, 2026 to July 31st, 2027 at a cost of $94.44 per ton delivered.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Comments before we head back to public comments? Just going down the road.
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Nothing else to add, Mr. President.
No additional report, Mr. President.
Nothing, Mr. President. Just like to take a second to recognize Ishani. I know we had the recognition earlier from Mayor Fifick, but it's been a pleasure. Although I haven't served with you as long as some of my colleagues, it's been great getting to know you. You're an impressive young woman, and I know the future is bright for you. So thank you for being with us, and wish you all the best in the future.
The comments.
So echo the clerk, congratulations and best of luck, Ishani. Thank you.
No further comment.
Just want to congratulate Ashani as well, as a member of one of the premier environmental law firms. We're looking forward to your success, and we'll certainly drop a resume when you get through law school. And to Sri as well, congratulations. You're raising a remarkable daughter.
Yeah, congratulations, Shawnee. You did a great job, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job in your next adventure.
I echo my colleagues. Congratulations, Ashani, and to the two Eagle Scouts, and thank you to those who came for public comment tonight.
I too want to congratulate you and thank you for your service to the community and wish you well on all your future endeavors. And also recognize and congratulate the two Eagle Scouts for their significant achievement.
First, I also want to congratulate the Eagle Scouts. Both of them are my classmates, and I think what they've done is super great. And then I want to thank the borough one more time for welcoming me and my constant questions and my ideas. And then I also want to say that I still look forward to being in touch with all of you, especially for any of the plans that we had discussed earlier in my term as junior council person, such as visiting the North Allegheny Senior High School. And thank you again.
No further comment.
No comments.
Just want to say thanks to Shanti for the last year for serving as our junior council person, and congrats to our two Eagle Scouts. That's it. Back to public comments. So we had some speakers that decided to speak later. I'm just going to go down the list again. Some of our speakers have left, but Tom Mueller, you are here.
Thomas Mueller, 2391 Charles Ray Drive. I really just want to say I hope that the agreements in the ability to work with the Franklin Inn is a good sign that the borough appears to have allowed them some deviation, and it all seems to be working in our favor. As far as the deli, I hadn't really thought about that. I hadn't heard about it, but I would hope that there would be some way in the future that they present a proposal and that you go ahead and you'll give them the opportunity to open a new business. I think it's a real important thing for the borough to get more businesses, to add for employment, not only the employment, but tax revenue and services that are provided for things like Franklin Inn and the deli. So hopefully the same kind of cooperation that worked with Franklin Inn will be present in the future for the deli.
Thank you. Any other speakers? There's two of you. Whoever wants to come.
Hi, everybody.
Your name, sir?
Chief, 15 Drive, former mayor, Shawnee. It's wonderful sitting next to you for what, 6 or 7 months, however long it was. But I want to wish you the very, very best as you move forward, whatever you do in your life. I know you're going to be very successful. So congratulations. That's it.
Okay. Any other speakers? Sure.
Brian Cooper, 1542 Bonnet Drive, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. Mr. Junker, when we stepped out to have a conversation, a comment was made. Would you like to repeat that comment?
Yes, I just asked if you were still out there, if you wanted to come back in and observe the Franklin Inn process and procedure.
That's nice that you said that, Mr. Junker, and you made that comment. However, one of the issues we're having is whether we are even required to do a site development. I know you say we are required to do a site development, but other attorneys are finding out answers opposite of that. So if you want to make the comment to the public, I find it interesting because if I'm mistaken, you're the only unelected official up here. You're an employee of the borough. Are you elected? Are you elected?
I am not an employee. I am not elected. I'm an appointee.
You're
I serve
appointee.
at the pleasure.
You get paid, but
Borough
you get
Council.
paid, your firm gets paid by.
Yes, and by applicants that come through the process and have to go and put up an escrow as they go through the land development process under the municipality's planning code.
It's interesting because you guys wanted a $7,000 escrow fee. So now thanks for clarifying where the money's going, knowing now that it's going to your firm. So thank you for answering that question for me. That being said,
It is also going to all professional consultants. So that's the engineer, will participate in the planning commission review. We'll give comments on the review process, draft the approval resolution, negotiate on if there are modifications or waivers that need to be done, and we will do a development agreement at the end of the process.
fine, Max Junker. I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to pretend to be one. I'm a Marine. I'm a local business owner, and I'm a constituent. I'm not going to let you make a comment about me when I walk out the door about how it's done the right way, because that's our biggest disagreement with this borough right now. So you can make those comments, but I guess at the end of the day, we'll find out what happens. We want to work with the borough. We want to open a business in the borough. We both sit on the board for the Ingomar Swim Club. We live in this borough. Where do you live, Mr. Junker?
The South Hills.
That's great. So here you are making decisions, but yet you don't live in this borough, but you're going to make comments about it, where we have everything invested in this borough, where we're trying to do something better, where we're putting our hearts and souls and our personal time into making this a better place. And when I'm doing that, the last thing I need to hear from the solicitor from Franklin Park is a comment about the right way to get it done.
You feel that way, but in terms of the timing or your comments and everything else to have a very comparable situation come forward, I'm glad you came back in and observed that.
Junker, I wasn't aware that I needed to follow up with you or anyone on council to come for an open mic night, so to speak, where I can come and speak on a forum where it's a coincidence. Yeah, it is a coincidence because I knew there would be an audience here tonight, and we have purchased the building a year ago. We've gone back and forth. You know, just to let everybody know, one of the issues that we're being told we have is parking, that our parking falls within the state right away. It's very interesting because when I was standing out front, I noticed the Citgo station. I noted Ray Donch station right there across the street. And they have all kind of parking lots, and they have cars parked up against Rochester Road, and they have lines painted there. So they're spots. Why aren't they held to the same standards? I guess they're grandfathered in so they can break the rules so it doesn't fall onto them. It just falls on two local constituents who are trying to do something positive, right? It's been a commercial property since 1951, since it was built. The parking's always worked. It was a daycare what, a decade, maybe 2 decades? No one seemed to care when there were kids being picked up in and out of that parking lot. Nobody cared. Now it's an issue. Now the parking doesn't work. What about all the houses, all the residents along the Rochester Road and Reese Run Road whose driveways connect to those state roads? A lot of those driveways have adjacent spots where they've expanded the end of their driveways. Do they not fall under the same requirements? And then I'll end it with, we're not changing anything at the property. We're not adding an addition like the Franklin Inn, so it's a lot different. We're not changing anything. Putting some windows in, changing the look of it, painting it. We've already cleaned the property up, but that doesn't seem to matter, right? We're the last ones that are sitting in this room that don't want a commercial entity coming in. But at some point, Mr. Browning and I are just going to throw our hands up and we're going to walk away. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to sell to the highest bidder. That's what's going to happen. And a commercial entity that has deeper pockets than the borough is going to come in and they're going to do what they want to do. And at the end of the day, we can sit back and look at ourselves and say, you know what? We gave it our best.
Okay, any other speakers? All right, if there are no other speakers, motion adjourned.
Moved.
Thanks.